Hey everyone, I'm David Goldberg with Sarah McGoldrick, and welcome to another episode of Media Gold, a podcast by the Gold Clover Group. And we're continuing our series talking to a bunch of really interesting people doing a lot of interesting things in this life. And today our guest is Tracey Mitchell, owner, founder of Equestrian Elements Life Coaching. Welcome, Tracey.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So Tracey, for people who don't know, Equestrian Elements Life Coaching, what exactly do you do? Can you describe your business?
Yeah, it is just that. It is life coaching within the equestrian world. So basically, life coaching is, helping someone get them from where they are to where they want to be. And I've had a long standing time in the equestrian world myself. So when I started up my business, I just thought it made a lot of sense to focus on the equestrian world.
And how did you get involved in that? Like, people don't automatically make that connection between life coaching and horses. So how did that kind of come together?
Well, I've been in the equestrian world for about 42 years, and that's sort of a combination of me riding and showing and stuff. And I guess you could say another business hat that I wear is also owner of Mitchell Equine Massage. So I also massage horses, and I've been doing that professionally, all sorts of different horses like that have represented Canada in the Olympics, etc. I've been doing that from just over 22 years. So when I got into the life coaching, like I said, I know the equestrian world really well. You know, fostering relationships with my clients, coaches, horse owners, farriers, veterinarians. So like I have a really good feel of what goes on, and just different areas where people might need a little extra help, some goal setting, some focus techniques, in and outside of the show ring. It's not all focused within the actual horse world itself. Sort of, yeah, just trying to help them, I don't know, develop their life a balance between horses and not horses.
So for some people, that's pretty difficult to juggle.
Yeah, I mean, horses are kind of like, if you love them and you're devoting all of your time to them, it's kind of in your blood. And if you want to be successful at whatever level, and especially, if you're doing a lot of showing and stuff, and even people that have them as companions, basically pets, they still sort of encompass our lives. Yes, they are a wonderful, wonderful animal.
Right. So there's even some people like you've met, you've talked to them, and they're like, "Oh, my partner's like jealous of how much time I'm spending with my horse and how much attention
Yes,
I'm giving them." And right.
that that does happen a lot. Yeah, like, if let's say, you're a 30 something woman and you own horses and you're all focused on stuff you want to do and you're single, like, let's just say if there was a gentleman that was looking to be with you, he would have to understand that, yeah, the horses tend to come first.
So obviously you started this business out of your expertise. Um, how did you start using digital marketing or social media tools to start promoting it? Because it would be a very niche market, I would imagine. So how
Yes,
did you sort of
definitely.
concentrate your focus and begin using these tools to get new clients?
Well, this has sort of been a learning curve for me as well, like really putting myself out there. So for the last 22 years, my hands have basically been what has, garnered attention and all that kind of stuff. But for me to connect with potential clients that, they had to get to know me a little bit more. So it's been a learning curve, and it's one that wasn't necessarily comfortable for me at first. But yeah, like just putting out like a be on the lookout video on Facebook and just sort of making little announcements here and there, and then just, I don't know, being consistent. That's that's been the most important thing, finding like making up a content calendar and getting myself consistently producing, writing content, and just finding out what works and what doesn't to get people's attention.
Mhm.
So what has worked? What are the best tools, and what are some tools that didn't work so well as you were going through this learning curve? Was it like, Facebook was the best and Twitter not so much, or
Well, right now I'm just using Instagram and Facebook, and then also my website and also my podcast. So those are basically what I'm doing to try to connect with people. um I don't know, like I said, I'm not the most talented person when it comes to tech. Luckily, I have a very good support system, and for that I am grateful. But my, like I've said, my learning curve is just, I don't know, like I go for Instagram. I'm learning a little bit more of like how to work the algorithm in Instagram. I find that that dictates a little bit more of the new interest, and Facebook is really good for just I don't know, bolstering people who are already my friends, or I find the Facebook's a little slower with getting new followers, shall you say.
hmm
And how did you adapt these tools to work with your business and your background? Is video a really important component of what you do? Do people need to see the horses? Do they need to see demonstrations of what you're doing? Or, how did you kind of put yourself out there to attract your
Yeah.
clients?
Well, with the massaging, the horse was the primary, target, shall we say, as far as getting people's attentions. But with my life coaching business, that's dealing with the human part of it. So, again, just trying to connect with um, my followers and potential followers in a way that makes them realize that I can help them. So, yes, putting out a lot of videos talking about topics of interest, something, talking about a quote or a little thought that might resonate with them, that make them think, huh, yeah, okay, I get it. She's talking about something that I've been thinking. Or that's something that might help me out with my goals, etc. So, that's kind of how I approach it. Videos work well. I also find that pictures of the personal stuff, or pictures of horses or riders, like that seems to get a lot of interest. Just making up tiles and stuff like that. They don't tend to, and people maybe read them and fly by, but there's not a lot of engagement.
Hmm.
and you're in small town Ontario, so has there been challenges just geographically from where you live, like trying to reach these people, trying to get this content out there?
No, actually, I think, and it's kind of funny. Um, I don't know if people think because I live in a small town that we don't have internet. But things are pretty good here in my little small town. And the internet is quite strong. And it's funny because, I mean, COVID has done so much to everybody's small business, and it's been such a challenge. But if it weren't for COVID, I'm not sure I would have gotten into the life coaching, because I've done it all from my computer. So, when I have my
Hmm.
coaching calls, um, I coach through Zoom. We do those, so it's actually made it easier to connect with people. And yeah, it's been again, like a huge learning curve, but a lot of fun. It's made my services more accessible for people.
I think COVID has I think COVID has
Right.
propelled a lot of businesses this year. People have kind of been able to have that chance to sit down and figure out what they wanted to do, or what works and what doesn't. Where before, when we're all we're at an office, we're here, we're there, we didn't have the time to
Right.
figure out what worked.
Yeah. No, it's become a lot more simplified.
Yeah,
And
no
like
more
you
commutes. Get a
said,
couple hours
Sarah,
back from your day.
it's, yeah, it's allowed us to sit and learn what we need to do and not play runaround all the time.
So, what direction do you see your business moving in? There's no end to COVID anytime soon. So, are you still planning on keeping up with the virtual aspect even after COVID finishes? Like, how will you continue to use these digital marketing tools to grow your business going forward?
Yeah. Well, I'm actually doing uh, just a 2 series free webinar. So I'm doing a webinar 2 this month, discussing the building blocks to achieving confidence for riders and people in the horse world. So doing that kind of thing. And yeah, like I'm definitely I'm going to be going for my level 5 leadership coaching certification in a couple of months. So just sort of adding to my toolbox. I don't really see my business slowing down. I see it actually getting busier. Um, yeah, and just I don't know, just helping reach out to people and educate them on the fact that there is help out there um, if they need it.
What made you branch out into podcasting?
Yes, I love speaking, and I suppose like back to your last question, I think the one thing that I can hardly wait for is to be able to actually go and speak to people again. Speaking is sort of one of my natural fortes,
Mhm.
and being in front of a group of people talking about something that I'm passionate about, connecting with them is something that I can hardly wait to get back to. So the idea of being able to podcast, talk about relevant issues, talk about some of the deeper subjects, picking people's brains like professionals in different areas is so much fun. So yeah, the whole podcasting thing I haven't found intimidating. I'm definitely growing as every episode happens and sort of developing my own style and flow. Relaxing a little bit more as everyone happens. So yeah, it's I love the podcast.
And do you have any advice for anybody who's looking to get into the life coaching game in general? You've been in for a while now, so what's your best advice for people?
Um, do it because you want to help people. Don't do it because it's a fad. Don't do it because you think it's a quick way to make money. There's a lot of personal development and self discovery that goes into the process of putting yourself out there for others. So, and finding a good place to get your education. I did all of my certification through the Certified Coaches Federation. It's a Canadian company. It's been up for about 14 or 15 years. They've helped coach people all over the world. So yeah, just finding a reputable place to learn the tools needed to help coach people along.
Well, thank you, Tracy, for joining us today on this episode. It was really interesting hearing about what you do, and great talking to you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This was great.
We hope you find everything that Tracy had to say here helpful. And if you know somebody who would be really interesting to interview, send us that suggestion. Visit us at our website, goldclovergroup.com, or find us on social media at Gold Clover Group.
And don't forget to catch us every Wednesday wherever you listen to your podcast.